And welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie and this is the week 33, August the 11th through the 17th weekly wrap-up. As I said, this is the week 33, August the 11th through the 17th weekly wrap-up. My birthday was this week. Happy belated birthday to me. And I did really good. I read 10 books last week. And since I read 10 books, that means I'm going to be talking about a lot. So I'm just going to jump right into it. It's going to be crazy. I had some duds. I had some great ones. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear about them. If at any time you want to hear about a particular book, make sure you check that description box so that you can time jump. I'm fine with that. I know that people are like, are all in their feelings sometimes. We spend a lot of time doing these videos for you guys. We don't want you to really jump around. We want you to watch the whole thing. But you know what? I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it. It's 10 books. It's long. So enough chit chat, let's get into the books. The first book that I finished last week was Reveal, which is Wicked Ways #2 by Bromberg. I place this in romantic suspense. I give it 5 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans, and I read this as an ARC. Yes, I was super excited to get this because this book actually does not come out until next month in September. But I got a review copy from NetGalley. So it actually counts towards my review-a-thon and as well as my Polycon 20 and 20 challenge. So this book is the conclusion of Riker and Vaughn's story. From before, Vaughn is a madam and she had to go on a date for one of her girls after some incidents happened. This is a crazy, crazy ride. It gets even crazier in this conclusion side of it. Her and Riker left on sort of uneven footing from that last book, and this is sort of their working through their issues as well as more suspense. There is so much more suspense. It's political, there's family drama, there's a thriller aspect to it, there's more secrets that are revealed, and it's just superb. I really, really enjoyed this conclusion. The next book that I read was The Right Swipe by Alisha, and I place this in New Adult. I give it 3.5 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I read it as an ARC, so it does fall under review-a-thon because I got my ARC from NetGalley. And this book just really didn't do it for me. I mean, I wanted to enjoy it. It came out the gate with a bang because our main character, Rihanna, I'm calling her Ree because I can't pronounce her name. Ree and Samson hooked up after they got together on a dating app, and then one of them felt ghosted until they were thrown back into the same situation again, sort of, at a work conference, and then they spent the time cat and mousing it. But to open the book, you get to hear about how hot and steamy their one-night stand was and how epic it was. Well, I don't know if it was a one-night stand. It might have been a weekend stand. But it was hot. It was hot, and then it fizzled out, and I was like, ugh. Then there was a whole bunch of issues that were tackled in it that are currently in the media. CTE, for those that don't know, it's has to deal with concussion protocols and things like that in the National Football League. And then Ree is supposed to be this strong black female, but she never ever showed any vulnerability, so I couldn't connect with that. I mean, I'm a strong black female, but whew, there was like no vulnerability at all whatsoever at any point in the book. Throughout the entire book, she showed no soft sides, and I was just like, I couldn't. She was sort of annoying me. She was really kind of annoying me. And then Samson, he was a big old sweetheart, but like I said, there are so many like other issues that are going on besides the CTE with him, and just there was just too much too much. Had it been like drilled down to maybe their relationship plus the CTE, then, you know, I could have gotten behind it, but there was just so many social issues that were compounded into the story that I just wasn't feeling it. The next book that I finished was Saved by Him Like a Hurricane, book number 2 by Kristie Leigh, and this is the conclusion to Jules and Hunter's story. I gave it 4.25 stars. I gave it 3 Steam fans, and I read this as an arc. This book releases next week, I believe, and this is their conclusion. Like I said, Jules and Hunter were a hometown sweetheart couple where Jules ended up leaving and she came back to town. There was some grief and family issues that ended up happening, and Hunter and Jules sort of kind of had to reconnect, and I liked this second half. I wasn't completely here for it because the only reason Jules ended up staying was because of something that her mother had put into some documents, and I was like, okay, I guess that's a good reason to stay, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily feel like Jules is the one that wants to stay, but it's still a really, really lovely story. It's beautiful, it's sweet, it's sexy, and I really, really enjoyed it. I wanted a little bit more from it, but in the end, the duet is a beautiful, beautiful duet. The next book that I finished was Hurt Me by Dukey and Webster. I placed this in erotic LGBT short novella, and they gave this book 4 stars. I give it 5 smoking hot Steam fans. Oh my goodness. I read it as an arc. This book releases in 2 days, I believe. And this book follows Javi, Zavi and Blaine. So Zavi is the lead singer of an alternative rock band for the music label that you have read about in other books, and he has a troubled past and has some issues that are going on with him that he's trying to keep internal, and he doesn't know how to release that stress and that pressure and the things that are going on in his mind. Blaine is the guy that the record company, you know, calls. He's a cop, and he's also the best friend of the record label's CEO. So Blaine has an attraction to Zavi, and Zavi has an attraction to Blaine, but doesn't know what to do with it. I will say that people that aren't, I guess, familiar with Kerr and Kay's writing may find this as a fetishized male-male romance. I enjoyed it. I loved it. So, you know, come at me if you want. I don't care. But I read this like first thing in the morning, and I was like, whoo, this is so smoking hot. There are elements of BDSM and law enforcement and drugs that are used in here. So there are quite a few things that go along in this book, and I really enjoyed it. Yes. The next book that I finished was Grigori, Brothers of Ash and Fire, #1 by Lauren Smith. I placed this in historical paranormal romance. Oh, I will get to that in just a second. I gave it 4.25 stars. I gave it 3 Steam fans. I listened to it as an audiobook for Romance Genre-a-thon, which is sci-fi, paranormal, all of those fun, amazing things. And in this book, we meet Grigori, and he is a dragon. Oh my God. But what's even better than him being a dragon is that he's like a 2000 like almost prehistoric dragon, which is even better. And the setting is in Russia. Madeline comes from Michigan. Whoop whoop, Michigan. And she goes to Russia to study. She is a historian. She wants to know the history behind the dragons, and she ends up checking out a book that is being tagged or tracked, and the book is connected to Grigori. And when he gets notified and he comes in and takes a look at the book, he gets her scent and is like, oh, I need to be with this woman like right now. And I was here for it. It was so good. It was so good. And then on top of that, there's so much history that goes into it. I was like, what? A historical paranormal romance? Yes, I am here for it. Here for it. I can't wait to get to the other books in this series because it follows the rest of the brothers, and I loved it. The next book that I finished was Bound, Tangled Web number 3 by Aleatha Roman. I placed this in romantic suspense, and I give this book 5 stars. 5 of them. Yes, 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 yes. I give it 3 Steam fans. I listened to it as an audiobook, and this is the conclusion of Laurel and Cadair's story. If you have been following the series with the other 2 books, you know that things are all sorts of twisted and crazy right now, and then it continues to get twisted and crazy at moments, different moments within this book, because I'm not really going to talk about what it actually is talking about in this book, because you need to read the other 2 books before you get to this one. But at different points in this book, I was like, is our story almost over? Oh my goodness, no it's not. There's so much more to come. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time and kept thinking, oh, okay, this feels wrapped up. No, there is more to come. And I just loved how it subtly wrapped in some of the other series that Aleatha has written. And no, you do not need to read the other series to get the full amazingness of this book. But if you have read the other series, then you know that you're gonna be like, what? Boom, head explode, so much goodness, and I am just loving it. I can't wait for the new series to come. I don't know which characters it's gonna be about, but I'm here for it. The next book that I read was Save the Date by Monica Murphy. I place this in rom-com, and I give it 4 stars. I give it 3 Steam fans. I read it as an arc. This book was released back in March, I believe. Oops. So I read it for Review-a-thon because I got it as an arc from NetGalley, which is why it's called an arc for me. This book follows Caroline, she works at a stationery store and she does the wedding department. So she does the save the dates, she does the wedding invitations and things like that. And she lives with her best friend above a bakery. One morning she has to go in for an early appointment, and when she saunters on in and skips the line to get her latte because her best friend owns the bakery and, you know, has her order on point, right? She cuts the line and ends up bumping into this very hot and steamy guy. And come to find out, this hot and steamy guy is 1, somebody from her past, and 2, the fiance of her very early appointment, who happens to be this snotty little woman in their town. And it sort of rolls from there. There is a marriage of convenience, or possible marriage of convenience, fake dating, lost love because the 2 know each other, our 2 people, Caroline and Alex. I forgot to tell you, Alex is our male character, the hottie McHottie that she bumps into, and the 2 of them have a history in past, so you have that lost love sort of thing going on there. I was here for it. Once I started this book, I laughed out loud and I could not put it down. I finished it within a couple hours. I was loving it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. The next book that I finished was Plumbing the Virgin by Tia Louise. This is an erotic short story. I give it 3.5 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I listened to it on the podcast of Read Me Romance, and this book follows Donna and Liam. Donna is this sheltered, homeschooled, she's no longer homeschooled, she's graduated and she's an adult, but she is going to marry Liam. Liam is the new plumber that came to town, and when he saw Donna, he was instantly in love with her. They are now getting married. This starts at her bachelorette party, where the ladies of her church, get her some risque stuff, and she's all blushy and doesn't know what to do. Well, that comes from her mother telling her that any sin that she does, there's bad things that are going to happen. So there's no sleeping with people before you get married. There's, you know, if you do anything that's considered a sin, then bad things will happen. Things have happened in her past, so she's very leery about it, and I would have been fine with just that simple sort of storyline. There was an abundance of sort of religious overtones that were placed into the story, and it being a short story, I was like, ugh, I'm gonna need you to tone that back, which is why I lost some stars. Other than that, if that part hadn't been in there, I would have been like, oh yes, it's hot and steamy and fun and, you know, things like that. I did still have fun because the funny moments were funny and the sexy parts were sexy, but there was a religious overtone that I just wasn't here for. The next book that I finished was Love and Other Mistakes by Jessica Tate. This is a Christian fiction novel. I can't even place it in romance, because let me get to it. I give it 3 stars. I give it 0 Steam fans. 0. None. Not a 1. And I read this as an ARC for Reviewathon from NetGalley. The premise behind this book is that Natalie and Jem, or Jeremy, were going to get married, but then like 7 years ago, but then he just up and pops smoke and leaves town, leaves her, and says, we're not going to be together anymore, we're not getting married, all of that. Okay. Then he comes back to town, and he has a kid, and she has been floundering for the last 7 years. So she was 17 at the time when she left, so the 7 years, and now she's like 20 something or another. I was not there. Then there's some other players that come up. You have Lily, who is Jem's niece, and you have the son, of course, and then you have that whole family dynamic of Lily's parents being on the outs, and then you have a father that is dying, a father that is overbearing, you have cheating people, you have infidelity, you have people wanting to make friends. There was just so much going on in this book. I was just like, what? And don't let me forget that it all happens within the church. Whew. And this book was just another reason why I no longer, it was just too crazy. Too crazy, over the top, too much going on, too much just too much. Too much. And then the final book that I read last week was How to Date Your Dragon, Mystic Bayou #1 by Molly Harper. This is a paranormal romance. I give it 4 stars. I give it 3 Steam fans. I listened to it on audiobook. And this was for Romance Genreathon. And I really enjoyed this book. I'm like gonna enjoy the series. So Julian, she works for a secret government agency that deals with the paranormal. She is sent to this town in the Mystic Bayou where there is a lot of paranormal activity. There are different species that live together, and she is sent to do a study so that she can find out how they're living with humans and with their other species, and there's not really a rift going on. And the sheriff of the town, Bael, who is a secret species, he doesn't tell Jillian what she is, and you get to see them sort of go back and forth. There is a humor about this whole thing, and then some murders start to happen. There is, you know, a suspense sort of piece about it, but it's not so heavy that you can get bogged down with it. It's just the fun part of it. And I really, really enjoyed the start of the series. There are 2 other books that I need to read. One is a novella, and one is the second book about a character that I'm looking forward to, you know, checking out. And I'm hoping that the best friend comes down and is that love interest, but I don't know yet. So we will see. Alrighty, on to what I am currently reading. I am currently reading Bren's Blessings by Tate. I was actually gifted this book by one of the narrators, I believe, or a narrator within that group. to promote this book, and so far what I have listened to, I am enjoying. It's a sci-fi alien story where our main character was an astronaut. Well, actually, she's not an astronaut. She is a physicist or something like that. She's some type of sciencey person, but she gets NASA to send her up into orbit around Mars, and come to find out the aliens of the area that we don't know about, that America doesn't know about, come and get on her ship and end up taking her because she smells good and she's his mate. They have special tattoos that say about each other's mate line, or, you know, why they have a connection, things like that. And that's pretty much where I have stopped. But I'm enjoying it. I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to finishing this story. I found this story because the narrator that offered it to me as a gift posted a preview of it, or a sample of it, on Twitter, and I listened to it and I was like, ooh, I need this in my life. And when I reached out, they reached back and gifted it to me. So thank you very much to that narrator. I appreciate it. I'm enjoying myself. The next book I am reading is Playing House by Ruby Lang, and I received this as a NetGalley arc, and I hope to get to it this week so that I can get that out. And I am still reading Parental Guidance by Avery Flynn, and this is about a hockey player. Come to find out, it is a hockey player, but I thought it was a single dad, and unless it happens later on in the book and I haven't gotten to it yet, what I have read is that the hockey player has sort of a bad image, and he said some things, so now he needs to improve his image and go on some dates that his mother, who is a hard-nosed woman, approves through this dating app. She rates it, and then they do ads and stuff like that, so it's a PR sort of thing, as well as, you know, dating situation that's kind of forced upon by your parent. So she controls all of that, and I'm here for it. Alrighty, so that is what I read last week, what I am currently reading. Have you read any of the books that I just named off? Let me know down in the comment section. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a big thumbs up. There's a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.